going to talk about 4 things you need to know before publishing a book. 4 things, just 4 things that you need to know before you publish a book. But what I am saying is, if you are one of these people who's sitting on a book that you've written and you don't know what to do with it, and you're thinking, well, I don't want to send it off to a publisher and have them tell me it's not good enough. And yes, there are some people who do write for a living and make a ton of money. Those people are, and so a lot of things have changed. I think that in years past.
Do you dream of adding your very own book to the collection of books that have already been written? Do you wonder where to start or how to finish? Does the idea of writing a book seem too overwhelming? Do you just want to polish up those writing skills or stay motivated? Do you wonder what to write about? Everything you need to help you write, stay motivated, and self-publish your own book is right here on one channel. And why? Well, because it's time to get over the writer's hump and just do it. You can write anything. Yep, you can write a book.
Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to a book. Listen, I'm going to do something on this channel that I don't normally do. You know, this channel is dedicated to interviewing authors, but today we're going to do something different. You're just going to listen to me. That's right. I'm going to do a little bit of a monologue here because I think what I have to say is very important. We're going to talk about 4 things you need to know before publishing a book. 4 things, just 4 things that you need to know before you publish a book. And I want to just dive right in and talk to you about that because one of the reasons why I started this channel was because the number one question that I got from people in my life was, Laura, how did you get your book published? I want to write a book, or I've written a book, but I don't know what to do with it. How did you get published? Who published you? Listen. We live in the 2000s, people. And so a lot of things have changed. I think that in years past, there was this perception that we all got from movies, from books, even from other people that said that you had to sit at your computer, or not even your computer because they didn't have it back then, but sit at your typewriter or pen out your manuscript, send it off to dozens of different publishers, hope and pray that one of them liked them and that they would pick up your book and publish you. And that's not how things are done anymore. So we're going to talk about these 4 things that you need to know before publishing a book, and then find out if you have what it takes to publish a book. So let's just start with number 1. We're going to go 1 through 4. Number 1 is you don't need permission. That's right. You don't need permission to write a book. Anybody can write a book, and I'm a real big advocate for that. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't times when it would be helpful or beneficial for somebody to go through the traditional publishing route. But what I am saying is, if you are one of these people who is sitting on a book that you've written and you don't know what to do with it, and you're thinking, well, I don't want to send it off to a publisher and have them tell me it's not good enough, or to change things that I don't want to change, whatever the case may be, or maybe you haven't written the book because you're afraid you'll have to do that, stop. Stop doing that. Everybody said to me or asked me, how did you get your book on Amazon? I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something right now. We're going to just do a screen share on my computer. And I'm going to show you exactly how I got my books on Amazon. I mean, something so simple, right? So here, let me just show you this. Okay, here we are. This is called Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, or kdp.amazon.com. You can Google this. Listen, what I'm going to tell you today is nothing that you can't find out on your own. You can Google this, but you go to kindlekdp.com and you create an account. I can't think of anybody in this day and age who has not had to go to a website and create an account. And once you make that account, this is not an Amazon publishing tutorial. So we're not going to go through all the ins and outs of that. But what I am telling you is you don't have to have permission to get on Amazon. You just go to KDP and it's going to walk you through the process of setting up your book. If you have questions, you can always jump over to another YouTube video. Watch this one first, but you can always go over to another YouTube video and take a look. There's tons of videos out there on how to get your book on Amazon, okay? So there's Amazon, then there are ebooks. And what is an ebook? That is an electronic book. Have you ever sent somebody an email and it was a letter that you wrote or a document or something? That is basically how an ebook can be sent. So I create my ebook, and there are plenty of ways to do that. If you have Google, most people do, you can do your document in Google Docs. You can write your book that way, and you can send a copy of that to somebody and they can pay you for it. You sell your book that way. You can give it away. I don't care what you do with your book after that, but that is one way that you can get your book out to the world. Okay. The other way would be there's just a variety of self-publishing platforms out there. Some of them come with a fee. They want you to pay a hefty price. And personally, for first-time writers, I absolutely don't recommend you go that route. That's just me. If you have plenty of money in your pocket and you think to yourself, oh, I want to do it this way, that's fine. You go right ahead and you can get those books printed, published, printed, sent to you, and then you're responsible for getting them distributed to buyers. You could certainly go that way, but the number one thing I want you to know, and I wanted to hit that top number one thing right out of the gate, because I know you guys have busy lives just like I do, and you might have other things to do, but I want to let you know you don't need permission. Okay? So if you're somebody who thinks, oh, I have to get a publisher and somebody has to approve my writing, stop. You don't have to have permission. All right, so number 2, let me take a look at my notes here. Yeah, I write notes, okay? I'm old school. Know what you want to say. And I'm telling you this from experience, because here's what happened when I wrote my very first book. I'm going to show you this book because it's so bad that I want you to see that there is room in life for improvement. Hang on one second. All right. I wrote this book. It's called A Squirrel Peed on Me by the world's worst author. It's a tiny little, skinny little, nothing book. Terrible cover. Terrible writing. Did not know what I was doing. So I had a business coach who said to me, Laura, if you want to get more speaking engagements and you want more coaching clients, then what you need to do is write a book. All right, I'm going to listen to, I paid money for my coach to tell me that I needed to write a book. At that time in my life, I had no clue as to what I was going to write about. None whatsoever. I don't think I had anything to say. And I also didn't know anything about self-publishing. I didn't know. I was one of those people who thought I had to have permission. So I didn't know what to write. And he said, doesn't matter. Write what you know. We're all told that, correct? Write what you know. And so what I know is that one day in my life, a squirrel peed on me. True story. I'm not making this up. A squirrel peed on me. And I used that incident as an analogy for some mental health stuff and coaching stuff throughout the rest of the book. Okay. Dumb book. I never got rich off the book. I used it as a lead magnet, which leads me to another point in all of this. And that is that you need to know what it is you're going to write about, what you want to write. I'm not saying you need to know all the details, but are you writing a book that's going to be a lead magnet? And a lead magnet is basically just something that's going to get your foot in the door for something else. So let's say you are really good with computers and you want to write a technical manual on how to fix your computer, but really what you're hoping is that people then get a hold of you and have you fix their computer for a fee. So we call that a lead magnet. Now, what I know is once I got this book published, and remember, I didn't know what I was going to write about. I got this one done. It's a terrible book. Suddenly I realized something. Oh, I can write. I didn't have to ask permission. I figured out how to get my book up on Amazon, and there was a learning curve to it. I'm not going to lie to you. Got my book up on Amazon. I wonder if I could do this again. Only this time I honed in on something I wanted to write about that I truly was passionate about, that I'd already been coaching in for years, that I knew something, about, and I had something in that genre, the self-help genre, to actually speak about. That next book, right, that next book was Better Coworkers by Monday. This is a book on business communication, how to communicate with people in the workforce. It applies to your home life just as well. Look how much of a difference. Not saying the cover's great. I still had some stuff to learn. Maybe though you are somebody who said, well, I don't want to write a lead magnet. I don't want to write a business book. That's not me. All right, then you need to decide, do I actually have a story to tell? Is there something in my brain that's bubbling that I would love to get out on paper? If so, what genre is that going to be in? Okay. Do I have a legacy story that I want to pass on to the next generation? So I have a couple of books that are basically the kind of autobiography type things, and more for passing on stories of my life to my family and children and things of that nature. But I had to decide what it was that I wanted. Did I have something to say? What did I want to write? And did I truly have something to say? So I hear too many times people say they want to write a book, and I say to them, well, what do you want to write about? And they say, well, I don't know. I just always thought it'd be nice to write a book. Well, you're not going to ever write if you don't know what you want to write about. Okay. So we've covered that. Look, you don't need permission. You need to know what you want to write. What genre do you want to write in? Number 3, let's get right to it. Number 3, you probably won't make a lot of money right away. I'm sorry. If I just burst your bubble, if you've been searching YouTube for how to get rich as an author and you think you've got it all figured out, then I applaud you and I'm happy for you. And yes, there are some people who do write for a living and make a ton of money. Those people are far and few between. I am not trying to burst anybody's bubble. I am not trying to take away your dream of writing a book. Actually, I'm trying to encourage you to write a book. It may not sound like it, but I am. But what I am trying to do is keep you planted in reality. And that is that the majority of people do not actually make a ton of money with their book because they forget to do one simple thing. And that is, hang on just a second here, I'm closing up stuff on my computer that's flashing at me. That thing that they forget to do is that they forget that they are going to be responsible for marketing the book. Remember, I told you at the start of the video, if I get on Amazon and I'm scrolling through, let's say, fantasy genre, I want to read a fantasy novel, and I get on there and I'm scrolling through there, thousands and thousands of fantasy novels are going to come up, right? So there's a lot of competition out there. So the people whose book I am probably going to choose are ones who have written good descriptions, who have good book covers, who are reasonably priced for their books, and who are going to appear a little bit higher on that Amazon search. Okay, unless I already have a title in mind and I'm searching for a specific title, that's a whole different ball game. But what I'm telling you is there is some marketing that is going to happen, because you can't just write a book, stick it on Amazon, and think the world is even going to know that it exists and that they will flock to it. They're not. Nobody is out there looking for your book if they don't know to look for it. And you're going to have to learn how to market yourself and your books, which is actually one of the things that we do on this channel. We give authors an opportunity to talk about their writing process, to tell people what the pitfalls of writing can be, and to share their books so that the world does go looking for it. So people do go looking for their book. And that's my hope and prayer for every author out there, is that people are looking for your book. So I want you to know that you're not going to just automatically, the money's not going to just roll in. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It's one of those, oh, I got discovered moments that just doesn't happen for most people. Okay. Lastly, you cannot be afraid to let somebody proofread or edit your book. So when you are done with your manuscript, now you know, look, I don't have to have permission. I can write this book. Not to wait for anybody to tell me that I can. You don't have to send it to a million publishers. You say, I knew what I wanted to write about. My vision is complete. I'm done. I know that I'm going to have to market this book when I'm done. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't find somebody to edit and proofread your book, then the book that you put out there will have mistakes. Every book does. People who have gone through professional publishing and editing companies, their books still have mistakes. They do. How many times, it's happened to me in your lifetime, have you picked up a newspaper and you have found a mistake? And what does a newspaper do? Well, I don't know if anybody reads newspapers anymore, but they'll make a retraction the next week. We made an error. You will make mistakes in your book. You absolutely will. I went the route of not, because I didn't know anybody who could proofread and edit my book. Now, on that note, I'm going to tell you about Victory Vision Publishing. Shout out to them. They do book editing and they do proofreading, and they are a company that you could use if you wanted to go that route. If you don't want to use a company to do that, give it to a friend. Let them beta read it for you. Find somebody in your community who is excellent with grammar and spelling and punctuation and all that wonderful stuff, and have them read it. Say, I knew what I wanted to say, but does this make sense to you? Okay. And you get that in their hands, and then you have to get some tough skin, because you will have made mistakes. Some of the things that you said might not seem right to the person who's reading it, and they'll have questions. And there will be some things that you'll want to change. Nobody's telling you have to change the integrity of your story or the intent of your story. But if you want it to make sense to the reader, if you want to just have somebody double check to make sure that you didn't miss something, we go blind, sitting on the computer and I'm typing away and I've proofread and I look back and maybe spell check didn't catch something. I've still made mistakes, which is which, there. There's so many times that we have opportunities to make errors in our writing. You need to have a second or third set of eyeballs on that thing, okay? So look, I know this was a quick video. I know that we just jumped in, we just dived right in, and I gave you those 4 things. I want to recap with you. Number 1, you don't need permission to write a book. Number 2, what was number 2? What was number 2? That's right. Know what you want to write about before going into it. Don't let anybody do to you what was done to me. And somebody say, you have to write a book and just get it out there. It's an uncomfortable feeling. Number 3, probably won't make any money with your first book if you don't market. So what about book marketing? Get on YouTube, read books on book marketing. There's some great books out there about marketing your book. Talk to other authors who have done the marketing for their books, who are making the money, and find out from them. There's groups on Facebook, I know, that do really good jobs of helping each other. And lastly, make sure that you get number 4, get your book edited and proofread, okay? We are going to get back to listening to some authors that I know you're going to love next week on this channel, but I didn't want to leave you all hanging. I know some of you have subscribed to this channel because you love hearing from authors. You like finding out about the writing process. And this week, I was on vacation, so I was kind of gone. But this week, we didn't get to do that. We didn't get to hear from any authors, but we will be amping it up for sure. We have some great episodes coming up, and you won't want to miss those. But in the meantime, I wish you all success in your writing endeavor. God bless you. Have a great day.